Hey guys, in the previous video we talked about text formatting and text tags, and in this video we're going to talk about links and attributes. So what we're going to do is at the bottom of our HTML file we are going to put external resources that we can click on and they will take us to different pages on the internet. This is what HTML is good for. So we're going to go to the bottom here underneath this deleted tag, and we're going to add the HR tag, which stands for horizontal rule. And the horizontal rule tag basically adds a dividing line across the viewport. And when you see it on the screen, you'll understand what I mean. So this tag, it's also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's an empty tag, so you do not need a closing tag because it's generally, you're not going to be putting anything inside it. It's not meant to have anything inside it. So let me go ahead and save that, refresh, and as you can see we have a dividing line. This is a good way to separate content in your page. So it's going to look good once we start putting some links down there. So let's go ahead and put a heading here that says external resources. Save this. Okay, so that horizontal rule is working pretty well. And one thing I didn't mention in the previous video for text formatting, you can actually nest these text tags like this. So I have an italic tag in between the H3 tag, and when I save it and refresh I have an italicized H3 heading. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adding some links down here. So for links, you're pretty specifically going to be using the anchor tag. And I'll explain why it's called the anchor tag. So the anchor tag makes its content clickable so that you can navigate from one file or page on the internet or in your local file system to another file, or from one point in the current file to another point in the same file. So what I mean by that is you can have a link, say down here, that you click and it just takes you back to the top of the page. It just says something like back to top, and then you click it and then it takes you to the top. So usually you're going to see these anchor tags, these links, take you to different pages on the internet, but you can also do that. So let's go ahead and put our resources we've been using down here. So we need Atom for this series. So I'm going to include a link to Atom. So if I save this now and refresh, notice this isn't clickable. So we kind of sort of need to do a little bit more than what we've just done here. And what we need to do is we need to introduce an attribute to this element. And that's going to look like this. So pretty clearly here we have the link now to the page that we want to go to. We have this href here, and then it says equals, and then in quotes it has this. So this is an attribute. Okay, and I'll explain what href means, but an attribute is a modifier to an HTML element, and HTML elements can have many attributes. So this could be width equals this, height equals this. So you can, this is sort of the syntax, how these attributes look, and they all get stored in the opening tag, and they are always this syntax: keyword followed by an equals followed by quotes and the actual attribute here. Okay, so if you had to guess what href does, you could guess that it's just it's storing the actual link to the page we want to go to. And href stands for hypertext reference. So this kind of brings us to what HTML is all about. And I'm actually going up to the top here to store a few more comments. So HTML stands for hypertext markup language, and in a previous video we talked about what markup language was. So hypertext is a text system that uses text anchors It doesn't always have to be text, but in the case of talking about hypertext, it's text anchors that take you from one place to another. So links. You can click on this keyword and it will take you to a different place on the internet. So that is what hypertext is, and that is what HTML does. So now if we save this, refresh, and now notice we have what looks like a link. Now if I command click it, we go to the page. So great, it's working now. So let's go ahead and add a few more links down here. And these are going to need that href attribute. And we're going to go to the ellipsum.com site. And let's add one more down here. And we're going to be using Unsplash in the next video. They have a lot of really nice photos on there. It's kind of like Shutterstock, but it's free photos. So pretty cool. So if I save this, refresh. So you should know what to do here. We don't want this to be formatted like this. This should look a little bit better. Let's add some breaks after these. Just going to copy and paste that, save, refresh, there we go. Now if I command click, that should open the pages. So Unsplash and Ellipsum. So great. So this is how you do links in HTML.